Hello, everybody. People of the internet who are watching people do things on the internet. I'm going to do some maintenance on my truck. She acquired a little bit of what is it? Check engine light comes on. Sorry, I'm still tired, just getting up, just getting my coffee in me. Cheers. It's a nice day. Not as windy today. Been reading online. It's intermittent. It's only under acceleration, and it kind of all points towards potentially either like a short somewhere or O2 sensor going bad, or a shorten, or it just needs to be cleaned, and or mass airflow sensor, which might need to be cleaned. I blew out my air filter the other day. Just want to check my plugs. I'm going to pull them apart. I'm going to try to clean them a little bit. I might pull the air filter off, look in there and see if I can't clean the mass airflow sensor. I have some alcohol and some cotton swabs, so I'll be very gentle with that thing. Mass airflow sensor for this isn't very expensive. It's only like $87 or something, and I can find them online. They have refurbished ones. They're not. So worst case, if mass airflow sensor's going bad. But she's driving fine. She runs fine. She sounds fine. And yeah, so I'm gonna change the oil today. I haven't changed the oil in a while. I've been driving her pretty hard, so I'm gonna go ahead and give her some fresh stuff. Yeah, so stay tuned. Well, we're gonna try to get some stuff done here. Filming these YouTube channels is not easy sometimes. I'm getting better at it, but we'll see. We will see how everything goes. I'm having fun though. Really enjoying being out here, being able to kind of do whatever I want. That's been a change. I've always had what I call the have-tos, the things that you have to do. You just have to. Like, you got to go to work. You have to do this. You have to do that. Now out here, the have-tos are more survival based, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta go get water, I've got to go to the dump and take my garbage in, which I gotta tell you, the garbage dump here is amazing. They charge me something like $2, and that's like every couple weeks or so it's like, what, $4 a month or something? Yeah, so that part's not, they don't charge anything for recyclables, so it's just your garbage, and I compost a lot. I don't have a lot of garbage, so I don't build up a ton right away. All right, where's my... Oops. So anyways, I remember what here's the socket that's on it right now. Let's see. This bucket. Wipe this out. Just want to wipe this out. So the oil. So I've been making concrete bricks out of the dirt here, and I don't know if you can see me with the sun there. Yeah, I'll go like this. And it's been pretty cool. They're a little more brittle than I like, so next time I go into town, I'm gonna buy a bag of wash sand to add some aggregate to it and see if it helps my bricks out a little bit. But if I can get the strength level up on them, then I'm gonna mess around with waterproofing them and making pavers, which would be kind of cool to be able to use the soil out here to make pavers. Coffee. Yeah, so I don't know, been messing around with that. I'll make a video on that one of these days here, and I want to get my trucks squared away today, and then I got to run into town, so I'll make a film of me going into Seligman. I got to go in and get a few things. Yeah, gotta go to the dump. Gotta go take my garbage in. But all in all, another day in paradise here. Trying to think of what to call my place here. There's so many ravens here. And Raven Ranch is one that I really kind of has been resonating with me. I've been playing with a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. But let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Thanks for being here. A little bigger. I need a wrench. That's what I need. What is it? Half inch. So maybe like down. I don't like that. I need a. It's the right one. It's 3/16, but let's try this. All right, we are draining oil. Only dripped a couple little small drops. I did pretty good that time. Everything looks good. No metal on it. That's awesome. All right. I'll let that drain and hope that little bucket's got enough space in it. I don't overflow it, but we're doing it. How are we doing, everybody? That thing still following me? Huh? No? How about now? There we are. You're back. Yeah, so anyways, oil's draining right now. Trying to do a little maintenance on this thing. Oh yeah. That oil's pretty black though, I ain't gonna lie. She needs an oil change, so I gotta take the oil filter off here in a minute. We'll let that drain for a little while here. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. It's always fun to have company, I guess, right? It's weird talking to a camera like it's a person. But I know somebody's gonna watch this, hopefully. Anyways, yeah. Subscribe, like, throw a comment. Let me know where you're from and what kind of projects you got going on. You know, and I don't know. I never thought I'd be where I'm at right now. It's been pretty crazy, to say the least. That, I don't know, big changes happened these last 2 years for me. I went from having a job where I was making like $80,000 a year almost, and you know, working 3 12-hour days on, 3 off, 4 on, 3 off, 4 on, 3 off. Like, we did the rotation. I did graveyards for a long time at that job, and for 4.5 years when I first started, and that it had some health effects on me that after 4.5 years I didn't even realize were really happening until it was like almost too late, and I had to go to the doctor, and it was a thing. So, and I went to day shift, took a pay cut, then ended up becoming a manager. The last 10 months of my job were amazing. I finally had the job, the position I wanted. They kind of created a position for me because I was kind of already doing it, and then they upped my pay scale a little bit because of it to, you know, the manager's pay. But I was a floater. I'd come in at 5 in the morning and the shift change was at 7 a.m. So I'd overlap the graveyard guys by 2 hours, and I'd help them with shift change. I'd help them get all their chemicals up. I'd clean plates if they needed it, pound new membranes in for their filter presses and shit. I would do all the things that was really hard for the operators to do and operate before the new guys came in. So then when the new guys would come in, the handoff was a lot smoother, and it, you know, I like that job. And then, you know, after by about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, I've helped both shifts, graveyard and day, and then I could kind of float around. So I would go down to the shop. I would see the maintenance crew and the fabricators and stuff, see if they needed anything. They also help the truckers and all of our tanker trucks and all of that. And so, you know, I'd go down and help them. I'd help the drivers. I'd, you know, go back and help the processors. Sometimes the managers needed things done. Like I had an issue where I had to redo all the standard operating procedures, and it needed to be done like a year ago. And if we lose our BQ 9000 certification, we can't sell our fuel, the biodiesel that we make. So, you know, I did the best I could, not knowing that 10 months later, those weren't even going to be necessary. The whole process was going to get shut down, and no more biodiesel being produced, and all but like 4 people are going to get laid off. Like, it was, it was a change, man. I thought I was going to like be there for a long time. I really had planned on being there for a long time. I didn't see that job ever going away. I mean, it employed us through economic downturns, COVID, all of that. You know, we were recycling used cooking oil and turning it into a fuel. So it was, I didn't see it going away, and I didn't see the writing on the wall with the what they call renewable diesel. And the company that bought us, to put it in perspective, our plant was 1 acre. The company that bought us and bought Carson Oil, Mahoney Environmental, Pacific Northwest Trading, I think, and us all at the same time. I mean, they paid, I think, I don't even think I'm allowed to say. But anyways, they paid a lot of fucking money for our whole entire company, and that means our oil collection, everything, our processing. So basically, they just wanted to use cooking oil in the United States. So somehow they got federal approval to buy us and create a monopoly on the used cooking oil and grease trap in the United States, which is still blows my mind that all of this even happened. And so now they're sending all that from our 1 acre plant down to a 100 acre plant that's supposed to be making 2.3 million gallons of renewable diesel a day. So it's like a 700 and something million gallon a year plant, and they need to feed that. We only needed to feed ours about 1 million gallons a month, so 12 million a year, and we could get that off the West Coast. And so it was such an interesting job and a great place to work. I learned a lot about organic chemistry. I really have still been furthering that on my own, and I really enjoy it. And it's interesting, all the dots that job connected on where our waste goes and how to turn waste to energy. And that's something I've been really passionate about for a long time. But right now I'm doing me, and I've tried businesses and partnerships with people, and it's difficult, and it's hard to turn your skills into money. So to me, I want to create a life where I don't need as much money, and not needing money it's a very powerful thing. I don't need to have a Lamborghini, Ferrari. I'm very, very happy with this truck right here. I love my truck. And I'm actually looking at a 96 Toyota T100 right now, which I should message that guy here in a little bit. He's down in Prescott, Arizona. He's not too far from me, and he's got a 96. Needs a new flex plate. It's got a crack in the flex plate, I think. He said it's making a noise. It's not the engine. So I'm going to propose to him that he takes it to the nearest mechanic and gets a quote on what it would cost to fix it all. I'll pay for the fix and buy the truck, but I want to make sure that is what it is, because if it is the flex plate, it's not too expensive to have fixed. You got to take the transmission out, which kind of sucks, but this truck's in good shape, and it only has it sounds like a lot, but 230,000 miles. But those 3.4 V6, those T100s, they go a long way. So I need it for hauling stuff. It's got a ladder rack. It's a work truck. It's so I don't beat this thing up all the time. And I don't want to destroy this thing up here trying to build the stuff I want to build up here. So I'm going to, hopefully do that and get that truck. It's not too expensive, which is nice, and so I don't want to break the bank either. Trucks are expensive, and vehicles out here are expensive, period. You have a good running truck out here, it's worth fucking 10 grand, dude. Fucking 15 grand. You want a nice truck, you're looking at 30 to 50. It's just crazy. So anyways, but yeah, I follow a lot of people on, wow, looks like quits. Every time I go out of the screen or something, I think it's doing it. Anyways, there we go. I been reaching out to some YouTubers and stuff too that I follow. Been following a bunch of them do off-road stuff and fab work, and I really want to connect with those guys and help connect the guys in Oregon that I know in Albany, Toyota Lee Customs. Zach Hassett. He's one of the most passionate dudes I've ever met about Toyotas, and he likes to blow shit up. He's a good kid, man. He's 28. He's got his own shop, and he's one of the hardest working dudes I've ever met. And yeah, so get this thing all dialed in. I really want to put a V6 in it. So everyone keeps telling me I need to start a Patreon, get my Patreon going, and then I can kind of have a place where people can help if they want to keep seeing what it is I'm doing. So that's where I'm at right now. We're gonna get there, I think. And I don't know if this content, and this is what people are gonna kind of want to see and stuff, but we're gonna do our dangdest, man. I'm gonna try. And so yeah, it's been good so far. So weather out here, man. I mean, right now, what is it? It's February, 3rd or 4th? I don't know what day it is. And I'm about ready to take my sweater off. It's sunny as shit out. If I was in Oregon right now, it ain't gonna be this great. There's no water here though, I do gotta say. There's water here. You gotta pay for it a little bit. But it's excellent water. And I'm a water snob from Oregon. I gotta tell you, the water up here, the well that's about 2 miles away, that water comes from about 1,300 feet underground. It's some of the best water I've ever had. It is so tasty. It's awesome. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Like and subscribe. All right, this thing's drained enough. All right, let's take this filter off. Let's see if I can get it cleaned. Oh hell no, that's disgusting. Filter off. Have a new filter. Nice frame on there. We'll get some oil in it. We'll put some oil around the edge, make a good seal. Drop some garbage here. That thing's still dripping. Still dripping out, so I'm just gonna let it drip more. So it's doing its thing. You guys want to go for a quick little walk while I let this drain a little more? Let's do that. Yeah, nice sunny day though. Woo, sun shining. Gotta check my solar array here. It got pretty windy the last couple days, but it seems to be doing good. I got to adjust it a little, but it's not bad. Yeah, so that's my solar array. There's 500 watts there. My little battery gets 100, and then my bigger battery gets the 200. But yeah, and then my little greenhouse thing I built not long ago here. This is more of a temporary structure thing. It was just kind of a place where I can store some of my tools and my experiments for my bricks. So I'll show you. Come on in. So these are my molds. So I'm actually going to start using the motor oil that I have from my truck to help with that. But you can see they crack pretty easy. They crumble once they get fully dry. But I did make one. I'm trying to recreate this recipe right here, which is more like brick. And like, you can hear it. And that's from the soil here. So I do believe I can make pavers here. So, and I've been adding carbon into it, some charcoal. I grind it up into pretty fine powder. And but that one came out good. And so I've got 4 recipes, and that one was the best one. So, and yeah, my little wood chipper, man. I got to get my wood chipper, get running that. I want to get all of this cleaned up. I've got this like nice little park area here, like right outside my front door. And yeah, LC Engineering headers, bigger throttle body. That's the only thing I've really done to this engine. This engine only has about 40,000 miles on it. When I bought this, it had 248 or something thousand miles on it, original. And I drove it down to Medford and back, and there's a lot of hills, and I was really pushing this thing up the hills in like 3rd gear, sometimes 4th gear. Got it all the way home, and don't really know what happened. I parked it. Next morning, wake up, go to start my truck. And check engine light comes on. It's running super rough. And I was like, what is going on? And I didn't know at first, but we took it in and we had it looked at, and cylinder 1 cracked. So, cracked cylinder 1, need a new engine. A complete long block for this was only $1,650. And the first mechanic I had helped me with this kind of screwed me over, so I ended up having to go through a different mechanic, which was a godsend that all that actually happened. It kind of sucked at the time, but learning experiences. But there was a point in my time with this truck where I almost gave up on it. And luckily, the second mechanic that helped me was awesome. His name's Salvador. Sal, he put the new engine in it and got it running pretty good for me. But the other guy had stolen a couple parts off of it. One of them was the idle air control valve. It's a very important part. This thing, after I got it back, it wouldn't idle under like 1100, and I was like, dude, there's something wrong with it. He's like, it's all back together. He didn't know either, you know, and I was like, fuck, man. So it took me a while, finally figured it out. I had to buy a used one because they don't make new air idle or idle air control valves, and they generally don't usually go bad, but mine was bad, so I got that in there. Or it wasn't even on there, it was not even connected. They had just like poured it off where the coolant goes through. Anyways, got that all fixed, and then she was running good, got her pretty dialed in. Yeah, me and this truck have been through a lot. Her name's Candy. She's I named her after a stripper because she takes all my money, and I think that's funny, but her name's Candy. I don't see strippers anymore. She's my stripper, and I love her more than any stripper ever. But yeah, she also can be a little finicky. She's got old electrical stuff in her that one day I would like to go through, and that's why I think long term what I want to do is when I go back to Oregon in June, I'm going to talk to Zach, and we're going to try to find a good 3.4 V6 and transmission swap and ECU and all that shit for this, and do the 3.4 swap on it. And I'll sell this engine and transmission combo as a fuel injection swap for somebody that wants to fuel injection swap their older Yodas. So it's I'm sure I can sell this. 22 REs, man. They're one of the best, strongest motors out there, and they go forever. They really do. They are little tanks, but I'm sitting here talking a lot, drinking coffee, and not getting anything done, am I? All right. Well, that thing's got to be done. Just get some oil in this. Can't really afford to spill any, so. Alright, that's ready. I'm gonna do the rag. There we go. That's a lot better. It's a lot better. Alright, so got that. Alright, oil filter on. Want a little more oil on the thing. There we go. A little more. Now, all right, clean this thing out. Oil goes in the hole. I've already used a little out of this, and it had 4.5 quarts. I put about a little less than a half a quart in the filter, so this thing holds 4.5 quarts. So we will see here, but I have an extra quart in there if I have to kind of fine tune it and adjust it a little bit. It's weird though, this dipstick, it doesn't have like a hot and cold, it just has a fill. So I just take it to the fill cold and it seems to be fine. But I haven't read too many of the forums about these 22 RVs, but I don't think they're too finicky about how much oil's in them as long as it's got fucking oil in it. So, alright, so Earl's in there. Put all my old stuff in here. See how much of a mess I can make. I hear you, bird. Stay out of my truck, bird. Bird the other day got in my truck. He flew in through my window. I don't know if there was like a bug in the window or something, but I had to get a bird out of my truck. That was fun. All right. Oil is fucking changed. Let's see what we're looking at here. Ooh, that's clean. That is perfectly at the full mark. Yes, like I've done this a couple times. I like these old trucks because you can work on them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be a rocket scientist to work on this thing, or an electrical engineer. It is pretty basic tools. You can do almost anything on these trucks, really. If you know, now with the internet, shit, you can really find a lot of information on everything, which is really nice. Yeah, that's right, full mark. So, all right, let's start her up. Let it run for a second. All right, keys. Alright, well, I did all the stuff I said I was going to do. I didn't really film it. I had to charge the gimbal and the thing, so I took the battery completely out, and just as I kind of thought, some of my headlight wires, one of them was chafed through the insulation, so it was showing the wire, and I think it was coming in contact occasionally with the metal of the truck, so I fixed that. Found two grounds that were... Nobody took the paint off underneath them, so it was just like, I don't know how good of a connection that really makes, so I sanded those down, cleaned the connections, cleaned my connectors on my cables, and everything seems to be running really good right now. So, oil change. Another thing I found that I would not have ever really guessed, but I'm glad I checked it. So my valve cover bolts were loose. And I've got a leak in the back of my valve cover gasket, and it kind of was noticeably getting worse. I don't know why I never checked that, but, you know, I assume they fucking torque those when they build these motors and shit. And anyways, yeah, they were really loose, and, you know, I kind of looked it up. They only need, like, I think 4 foot-pound or something, so I just snugged them. They're fine. But we'll see if that makes a difference on that little oil leak in the back. I'm gonna have to get it looked at here soon, but yeah, we're gonna be headed into town now and give it a good test drive. I gotta go to the post office, and I gotta go to the dump, and we're gonna get some food and stuff, some snacks. I'm out of snacks right now, man. Alright, well, let's go. I'm gonna try to hold a gimbal and shift and do all that fun stuff. Oh, turn. There we go. There we go. So I run a pretty low pressure in these tires right now. I think I'm running about 18, and it all kind of depends too on how warm it is outside. If it's cool in the mornings, it's down about 3 or 4 from that. So, but yeah, let's go see how my truck does now. See if that intermittent check engine light. Oh, I don't want to run my disc over. Careful. If it fixed anything, I'm wondering if that I was losing like pressure or something in the top because of the valve cover or something, and maybe it was like alerting me like, hey man, you got something weird going on, bud. But I don't know. But yeah, let's check out the window here.